Hi Aries, welcome to your reading for September 2020. Let's get into it. We already have a card out. Ten of Swords, wow. This shift from Venus, the shift from Gemini into Cancer, the Venus just made, really switched up the collective energy going on. It switched, it like flipped a switch on a lot of pent up emotion and feelings of things from a long time ago, even that have been buried deep, 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 that only come out and only have the opportunity to seep out when certain triggers are triggered, when certain buttons are pushed, when your body is put in certain situations that make you react a certain way or make you feel a certain way. Venus in Cancer has been bringing all of that out. Let's keep shuffling. The Ten of Swords is good though, because this means that you're like, it's done. You know, like the feelings come up and come out of nowhere. And, you know, I've had many moments where I've asked myself, are we in Cancer season again? You know, like it feels very much like that heavy Cancerian energy. You have to understand that what you're feeling right now is like the worst of it, and it's done. It's come up, but hopefully, you know, like when we go through Cancer season and prepare for going through Cancer season, you kind of need to take a firm grasp. You need to hold a firm foot so that way you don't get swept under the tide. If you have this foreknowledge and this foresight to kind of understand that these feelings coming out of the blue are exactly that, out of the blue, and you can give yourself grace and mercy to feel this way and just let it all drain out, because it is valid and it is pent up and it's from a time previously that you know, that feeling that you're feeling right now, magnify that times 10,000, and that's like how it felt in the moment. You know what I mean? That isn't your reality anymore. And if you have that, again, that like tethering to the now, to the reality outside of this Venus like haze that Cancer is causing, and Uranus going retrograde today in your second house as well. The fog will kind of lift. It needs to lift on its own. The best thing you can do is just hold to your guns and hold to what you've been working on and hold to the mental spaces that you've been creating for yourself over the course of this year. And so that way you can keep that footing. If you don't do that, we have the Nine of Swords. And this is, again, the reality. If you don't hold this footing, if you don't, you know, even when you're going through these like painful situations, if you're not kind of holding yourself saying, okay, I know that this is really shitty, I know I feel, you know, not so great right now, and these things that are coming up feel real because your body's telling you that it's real. If you kind of walk yourself off that ledge and just say, I'm allowed to feel through it. I'm allowed to feel this way. But I know that this is coming up as a part of my journey to healing and my journey to, I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. It is a part of that healing journey. With the Ten of Swords, you've been stabbed 10 times. Some of these wounds, you know, Aries sometimes doesn't like to, you guys don't like to address every emotion that you guys feel right when you feel it. So some of these wounds are like 5, 10 years old, you know, from childhood even, depending on how old you are. And you didn't give them the room or the space to drain out for whatever reason, not even against you, whether it be, again, by choice, or, you know, you had to be that way because your circumstance wasn't a safe one for you to express that. Either way, no matter the rhyme or reason, um, it needs to come up and come out. And so if you don't let it drain out, um, if you don't kind of swallow your pride and chill and allow yourself to feel these heavy things but not beat yourself up because you're feeling these heavy things, then you'll be okay. If not, then you're going to be in your head about it and you're going to drive yourself insane, and you take things out on yourself. You know, that Mars energy, whether it's on the Aries spectrum or the Scorpio spectrum, there is a sense of self-inflicted like pain if you're not operating to the level that you want, whatever that is, whether it be good or bad. Ace of Wands, the Empress, beautiful. If you hold your footing and you hold your ground and you march forward through this kind of haze and confusion and emotional cloud that is kind of blocking your view right now. It's all you could focus on is all this stuff that's coming up. If you hold your ground, there will be that like road sign in the dark, that flashing beam of light, that spotlight, that way out, that light at the end of the tunnel, that spark, that realization, whatever it is. You know, it may even be through the processing, you get to see another side of the situation that was so painful, and you get to heal from it in a way that you never could have then, or unless you had that wound opened up the way that it did during this time. So it's a very powerful energy going on right now, and you can yield it any way you want. The choice is yours, you know. The Empress is a space that you are capable of being in and maintaining as long as you're balanced. All right, we're back. Ace of Wands. I wanted to continue. I needed to kind of like collect my thoughts because the Ace of Wands and then the Empress the Empress threw me for a loop. And I was having trouble interpreting the message in it until I went back and was able to kind of watch what I had done so far. 12th house Mercury in Sagittarius is a trip, and I mention it frequently. So if you don't know what 12th house Mercury in Sag looks like, go look into it, and then I won't have to explain myself anymore. But I think the Empress is what that Ace of Wands is signaling you to. That light is the Empress energy. I think that's the energy that you've been working towards and trying to get to for so long. Back in the part that I cut out in my like rambling when I was deciphering, I had stated that, you know, this is an energy that you almost feel like when you have it, you need to hold on tight to it because you know that it's going to go again. You're already anticipating the sweeping away of this energy. Whether it be through like surprise circumstances or it's something that you manifest and create for yourself due to you anticipating it being swept away. Almost kind of like a let me get rid of it before it gets rid of me. It's heavy. I feel that. But this isn't the message. The message with the Ace of Wands is that you can have this space all the time. It's on the other side of this healing, but again, you need to show up to the healing a certain way in order for it to heal altogether. Those wounds that are resurfacing healed initially at one point. The tending to those wounds dictated how well they healed. How well they healed then dictated and dictates what goes on now, and how you heal these wounds that have reopened and care for them now with the knowledge that you have dictates how well they heal this time around. The better you heal your wounds, the more you can hold on to this Empress energy. Because the reality is, the only person who's in control of whether that energy, that space, I hate even calling it an energy because that seems so vague now with the way that people use that term, but this space, this archetype, this yeah, I want to say space because it really is like a space that engulfs you. You can be in this space all the time. It's being presented to you. It wants to be with you all the time because it is you. You see what I'm saying? Like that part of you that is calling you to the Empress energy is you. Another version of you. So, with that being said, if you plant your footing now, while all of this stuff is coming up, and if you're easy on yourself, and you care for yourself, and if you may not even know what that looks like. This may be the time where you discover what it looks like to care for yourself, and it may not feel enjoyable. Like, I'm the type of person where it takes me, like when I first establish a routine, it's more so to instill the structure, and then over time, that structure is what maintains my mood. I notice that my mood is and just overall spirit is vibrating at a higher level when I know that these things are set in place for me. And that also allows me to then, when, tough situations come up or waves of emotion or energies like this are present and moving through us, then you have these support beams in your life to maintain this structure and this Empress space. They maintain all those things that you do regularly to keep yourself exalted in that space. And the more you do that in the good times, the more resilient you'll be during times like this. AKA, if you haven't put the I know I'm probably being redundant, but I want to make sure that I'm drilling it in. If you tend to the wounds now and heal them correctly, and you're really soft with yourself, and you kind of romance yourself and court yourself, and you're gentle with yourself the way that your parents should have been with you, the way that your friends should have been with you, whatever your story is, if you show up that way for yourself during these times, in this time, than what you are afforded or what you have offered to you at the other end of this. You know, the rainbow and the sun at the end of a rainstorm is this feeling that you've been after all along. You just have to be open to it. You have to um, cardinal signs, and I feel this. I'm a Cancer moon, um, and I'm a Scorpio sun, if you can't tell. So I feel the Martian energy, and I also get the cardinal energy. Sometimes when you are so hyper fixated that it has to, like, this is your goal, and in your head the only way that your brain can perceive that goal happening is like a specific way. When another way shows up to you, sometimes it could be really uncomfortable and you don't want to shift because, like, A to B, you know what I mean? Let's pivot. We're going down this new road. We're dealing with things differently because what you want is something different. If you wanted, if let's put it like this, if how you're acting and how you treat yourself and how you are, how your relationship is with yourself was operating at like optimal level, that like it needs to be for you to receive and have all the things that it is that you want to have, you wouldn't be going through these types of lessons. I know that sounds harsh. Or how do I... If what you're doing right now was working, you'd be where you want to be. I know how that sounds. But think about it. If the routines and the way that you handle emotion when it comes up and the way that you deal with yourself when emotion comes up, I'm not talking other people, I'm talking strictly like you in your head. If every little thing that you did was working, you wouldn't be feeling the way that you feel right now. In order to get to where it is you want to go, you have to leave where you've been and where you are. And I know that's a really uncomfortable like pill to swallow, but you guys have never been one to have fear from moving into this new thing. That's why this is so out of character. That's why this is so deep rooted. This is stuff that happened before you developed all that armor, before you acquired it. Scorpio's born with the armor. They have it. It never goes away. Aries has to adopt it. If you get that implication, in order to adopt armor, you need to have a reason, right? Implying that probably would have been hurt a few times. You get what I'm saying? I love you so much. I know that this came across kind of harsh, or maybe some points did, maybe not. But if it did, I hope you got the message. And sometimes tough talk is what responds, what Aries respond to. I was raised with an Aries dad, Aries brother, like, yeah. I'll see you guys next month. I hope this September is amazing for you. Love you.